So I wanted to talk through the variations of the Snowspeeder. There's a few different models to this. All of them have the same features to them, but they do have different appearances and pilots. So start with just the classic clean version of this. So the major things that this thing can do, you have a cockpit that opens. You have the side flaps here that will open to show some of the mechanics underneath. You have the rotating gun here on the back, and then you also have the landing gear here on the bottom. So all of them, again, will have the same features to it. They do have some different pilots and some other features that are slightly different. So in the standard version, you're going to have a Luke Skywalker and a Dak Ralter. So the Luke is, you can see with just the helmet with the two red dots on it. The Dak has the gray lines on his helmet. So as I was collecting, I found one really cool version here that actually has a yellow tint to the cockpit. So this does actually look like it's tinted yellow. Whether or not that was done as a custom feature or whether or not this is one of a kind, I don't know, but it's pretty cool, so I kept it in the collection. But this again is the clean version. Now if we compare that against the dirty version, as we would call it, the dirty version here has some weathering on it. So if you're looking at the side, you can see the weathering there. Again, all of the same features, same pilots, same landing gear there on the bottom. Nothing is different. Then you have the Rogue version here, which is this darker version with the orange on it. This one has, again, same features. If you end up opening up the flaps, you can still see kind of the gray mechanics underneath. The one thing that is cool about this is you do get different characters. So there are two separate characters in this one. You have your pilot that will have the Rebel insignias on his helmet, and then you have the gunner here, which actually has one yellow insignia on it. It's kind of hard to tell there, but then this one also has a black gun on the back, which is another one of the features of this one. And again, here's the bottom. In the Hoth version, there are the Hoth playset. There's actually two different versions of this. So I kind of ran across this on accident, but you can see the differences here in terms of the paint job on it. So the one thing that I've seen as I've looked at these over the years is now that there's really two major paint schemes. So the one in my right hand here, you can see the dots on the side, these 4 black dots. That's kind of one of your big tell-alls for that. And then you can also see this gray marking on there. And then you can tell the difference on the front with how the paint scheme is done. The one in this left hand here will have this black dot that's right there. So typically I've seen one or the other. These seem to be painted by hand, and so none of them are exactly the same. So they all are slightly unique, and you can see again here is that gray coloring there. And then you can also see the difference in the paint on the actual flap here, that there's no paint on the one on the right and there is paint on the one on the left. So just pretty interesting features. These typically come with one pilot. So again, this is part of the Hoth Action Fleet Transforming playset, and it will come with one pilot that has gray or gold on their helmet, similar to this one. The one in over here, I've got Luke in there just because I had an extra one. Wanted to put him in there. And then you've got your Hasbro version. So the Hasbro version here all the way in the back. This does not come with any pilots, but you can see obviously a huge difference with this relative to the original release. When you open up the flaps, there's actually some orange on the interior. The gun is a different color. Again, there are no pilots that typically come with this one. And you can see the stand here is at the landing gear is basically the same. Bottom, really no difference. And then the last thing is the two in the back here, the alpha version. So the one thing that's interesting about the alpha versions, there's two versions to this. So the first one here, you can see with the cockpit that there's only one window. This actually comes with Luke Skywalker and then one of the concept pilots, as well as the concept speeder and the specific stand. So it typically comes with a gold Star Wars stand, you can see there. And then here is what the bottom looks like on this. And then there's another version that the second version here comes with the two windows on the top. So you can actually see that it gives you two of the concept pilots instead of one. And then you still get your concept speeder here. This one typically comes with a silver stand. And then you can see here on the bottom, basically what the bottom looks like. Now with the Alpha Series ones, you can see also the difference in the guns. So the color of the guns are slightly different. One is white and one is darker. And then there's also a version that comes with a Topps card in it. So there's two different Topps cards that I've seen that have come with these sets. There's one with a land speeder, it's just a promotional card. And then another one basically of Mos Eisley. But that is basically your Snowspeeders. From a stand perspective, there's some that come with gold stands, there's some that come with silver stands. So, you know, I think to some degree these were somewhat interchangeable. As they went through the years, they put them out in different boxes. I've opened some that have been the same version and had different stands, so I think they're all interchangeable. This one here you can see doesn't have a spot for any figures. This is the Hasbro version. Goes with the Hasbro one. Pretty extensive look there at the Snowspeeders and their features. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.